Welcome into Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee, the show that features the news and events from across Giles, Maury, and Lawrence counties from the pages of your local newspaper. I'm Scott Stewart, publisher of Main Street Maury, Pulaski Citizen, and the Lawrence County Advocate. And this week, we've got lots of photos from Independence Day celebrations in Giles and Maury counties, and we do have some tragic news coming out of Lawrence County. So your local newspaper is available at boxes and newsstands in markets across your county, and there is a subscription option available if you would like to have it delivered to your mailbox each week. Now, in order to do that, you need to visit mainstreetmediatn.com. That's mainstreetmediatn.com, and you can find out how to subscribe either online or traditional newspaper to your community newspaper. So let's get our wrap started this week with Main Street Maury. In Main Street Maury this week, Maury County celebrated Independence Day in a lot of ways, and we start on the front page with fireworks and a whole lot more. But that's not all. There's a page full of pictures from all across Maury County and the festivities that's inside this week's paper. County commissioners discussed impact fees during the commission's July 2nd meeting. Editor Chris Gregory breaks down that meeting and more from that meeting on page A1. Chris also tells us about the commission's building committee splitting its vote over management for upcoming building projects. If you want to know more about the City of Columbia, sign up for Columbia 101, a program designed to engage residents with their local government and community services. Finally, on the front page, Spring Hill Planning Commission discussed concepts for a proposed Kedron Retail Center at 3919 Kedron Road last week. We've got that right up from Barbara Harmon. Inside, Hampshire's new principal is Ronnie Brewer. Rose Hill Cemetery is seeking assistance with funding. Information from the June school board work session is in there. Columbia received an award for environmental leadership. Local student collegiate achievements are inside this week. Maury Regional adds Julie Bowling to its board of trustees, and Felicia Brown is appointed as Senior Vice President Treasury Management Officer at Heritage Bank and Trust. We also always have local obituary notices, local government public notices, community events, church directory, public auctions, puzzles and comics, and the Columbia Roadshow sale is coming up, and we've got the ad this week in Main Street Maury. Don't forget about all the deals down at the Piggly Wiggly down at Neely's Mill Shops is in this week's Main Street Maury and every week's Main Street Maury. Get your copy of Main Street Maury on the way out to the Pig to make sure you know what the deals are. So look, I'm telling you, I barely scratched the surface of Main Street Maury this week. It is packed full of some good, great information all about different parts of our community. I hope you get a chance to pick up your copy for all the news and events and stuff, but also there's a whole bunch of sports in there. So let's kick it on over to Mo and see what's going on in sports this week.
Hey, I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Maury. This week's print edition of Main Street Maury, for a holiday week that we're coming out of, is surprisingly full of stuff. Let's start with the 11U Little League State Tournament taking place over at Maury County Park that started up last Friday. We've got coverage of the host team Columbia Americans tournament opening victory. And by the time you hear this, we're hoping that the Columbia American team is actually the 11U state champion because they will have played the state championship game last night. We'll have coverage of that on mainstreetmaury.com so you can stay up to date. But we've got everything else through the weekend heading into the Tuesday night game for the 11U guys. So be sure and check that out again in this week's print edition of Main Street Maury. Also, we've got some coaching moves taking place over the summer. Spring Hill has a new baseball coach replacing their state championship winning coach who took over the program at the new Battle Creek High School. Battle Creek High School has a championship-winning softball coach that they brought in from out of state, and Columbia Academy elevated a first-year assistant to take the reins of their softball program. We've got coverage, again, of all of those moves in this week's print edition of Main Street Maury. Additionally, The Tennessee Sports Writers Association named their spring sports all-state teams for baseball, softball, boys and girls tennis, boys and girls track and field, and boys soccer. We have all of those teams in print this week. Be sure and check those out again in the Main Street Maury print edition that hits you today. The Columbia American 11U State Tournament wasn't the only tournament taking place this past weekend. Post 19 hosted its annual Independence Day Classic. Both the juniors and the seniors took part in that, and no other way to say it, they struggled heading into state tournament play this coming weekend. So we've got a little coverage of that in the print edition of Main Street Maury as well. Tough 4th of July, well, actually tough 5th, 6th, and 7th of July for the post-19 seniors and juniors, but you can check that out in this week's print edition. Coming up online on mainstreetmaury.com and in next week's print edition of Main Street Maury, we've got coverage of, again, that Columbia American 11U state championship game from last night will be in print. Nice little, what would you call it? Acknowledgement for a former local standout, Kavaris Tears, the Columbia Academy standout from a few years ago on the baseball field, who has since won a national championship at the University of Tennessee. Well, Lewisburg is recognizing him, or has recognized him. It was Kavaris Tears Day in his hometown on Tuesday. We will have coverage of that online this week and in print next week. Also, a little feature coming out of that post-19 tournament. I think it's going to be interesting, and I think we'll leave it at that. It'll be online and it'll be in print in next week's edition. And, you know, coming out of the dead period for high school fall sports, particularly football, we'll be checking in and seeing who's got what going on after the first week and other things as they come across our desk. So again, be sure and stay tuned to mainstreetmaury.com and be sure and pick up a copy of next week's Main Street Maury for everything that's in print. Thanks.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated cost plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Having a good, confident smile and being able to portray that positivity to others is really helpful.
A professional family atmosphere is what we get every time we come here.
Our hygienists do a better job at kind of assessing mouths and coming up with plans than most dentists do.
They're very kind and they're very aware of other people.
I think if there's things that I would want you to leave here with, I want you to feel like you were heard, that we listened to you, and I want you to feel like that your concerns were addressed.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Rhonda Sue Pruitt is this week's Citizen Spotlight, taking her spot at the top and center of the Pulaski Citizen's front page this week. There's an article inside also telling you more about Rhonda. Also on the front this week, the Giles County Commission will meet Monday. That's July the 15th. And I've got a look at what's on the agenda. And here's a hint, building projects. That's right. There's a lot of building projects going on in Giles County. And there's a couple of them they're going to talk about at the County Commission coming up next Monday. Now, we'll have the live stream on Pulaski Citizens Facebook page and Pulaski Citizen Live's YouTube channel. Pulaski knows how to celebrate Independence Day too, and we did it again this year. See the pictures on page 1 of Pulaski's fireworks and the party up at the Recreation Center. Also on the front page, the Giles County Public Library has received a TOP grant. That's a TOP grant. Find out what that means there on page A1. Inside this week is Realtors Week, and we got local auctions to go along with our regular Realtors listing. So, as always, we've got local obituary notices, backward glances, general sessions court docket, property transfers, local government, public notices, community briefs, church directory, puzzles, and comics, and the pet corner. Also inside, we have the photos and winners from the Sundrop Fest beauty pageant. And Johnny Phelps, Giles Pass this week, highlights Union Hill. There's a lot coming up over the next few months in the Pulaski Citizen. We got football coming up. We got special sections. Of course, football coming up means we got our football contest coming up. Then we'll be moving into fall with our Halloween special events and our Veterans Day special section, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and that's just to name a few. So don't miss a single paper. All right, here's what you need to do. Go ahead and sign up for an online or traditional subscription by calling 363-3544, or you can visit PulaskiCitizen.com. You can have your traditional edition mailed to your home every week, and you can access all of our articles as well as our weekly e-edition of the newspaper with an online subscription. So make sure that you get, somehow or another, you get your newspaper every week, because we've got the rest of the year, we got it packed full of stuff for you already. And when you do get that, you'll also get local sports, which I haven't even mentioned, right? And here's Wade Neely with this week's sport.
Hey folks, Wade Neely here, sports editor of the Pulaski Citizen. Time to give you an update on what's in print this week. It's the July 10th edition of the Pulaski Citizen. All-stars, all-stars, all-stars. All the Giles County Little League softball all-star action that you want, you can find in this week's edition. We have photos of all of our teams, thanks to our good friend and citizen colleague, Abby Pipkins, for all of her hard work. But we can bring you guys all of those great photos of all of our young ladies. They've had such a great season, and now all-star action is underway. Last week, we gave you the first set of recaps of those teams. But this week, we have all of the young ladies in print and their coaches. So make sure you check that out. That's kind of our feature montage in the section this week. They will be playing games later in the month as well. So stay tuned for future updates on all things Giles County Little League softball. Speaking of the Diamond, a couple of spots remained, not many, but limited spots remain for Coach Mitch Hill and his UT Southern baseball team, which is conducting its last 2 summer camps this month. They had a couple of camps in the month of June, and they will have 2 camps coming your way later this month. Make sure you check out our coverage there on this in the Pulaski Citizen as we give you the updates. One will be available for a little bit younger group, and then the final camp will be eligible for all those kids in the high school ranks who are looking to take their game to the next level, or maybe even showcase for college coaches. So make sure you check that out, because registration is going fast, but it is also still underway. And as always, we close out the sports section with who else? Our good friend Larry Woody, who has some delightful columns each and every single week, talking all things nature, outdoors, hunting, fishing, wildlife, you name it, Larry's got it. And this week, he's got a special tribute that you're going to want to check out in print as well. A thin sports section, but that just means we're getting ready for a couple of big sections as football is right around the corner. Again, we'll have all-star coverage coming up later in the month. And stay tuned for who knows what else pops up in print at the Pulaski Citizen or online at PulaskiCitizen.com. Wade Neely saying so long for now.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
have always met wildest expectations as far as taking care of my teeth and my health. You know, teeth health is very important now to your heart. And I told him one day, I said, I'd love to have nice teeth and nice hair. And he said, well, I can take care of the teeth, but I can't take care of the hair. And I said, you can make my teeth? He said, yeah. I said, well, let's go for it. And he did. And I have been tremendously pleased. Dr. Hart, if you need him at night, he's here. This staff here will take care of you 24/7. You don't have to worry about, I can't get a hold of my dentist, my tooth's hurting. No, they will be here for you. And if I could get Dr. Hart to take that same artistry that he has and grow hair, then he would be double rich.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to Nashville Super Speedway.
That's right, guitars and fast cars right here in Music City. This summer, NASCAR is back at the Nashville Super Speedway. Get your tickets now to watch your favorite driver take on the 1.33 miles of concrete chaos. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to lock in your spot June 28th through the 30th for the Ally 400 race weekend.
Bluegrass Auction Associates is hosting another estate auction in White House, Tennessee on Saturday, July 20th at 10 a.m. Join Bluegrass as they sell the Judy Matthews Honeycutt Estate, conveniently located in the scenic Orchard Park subdivision. This beautiful estate includes both real estate and personal property, so everything must go. Everything will be sold on-site and in person, and a 10% buyer's premium is added to the final bid. So bid with confidence with Bluegrass Auction Associates, committed to excellence.
Well, the Lawrence County Advocate Wrap this week starts with sad news as Lawrence County is mourning the loss of Sheriff's investigator Anthony Michael Kutcher, who was killed last week in a wreck. The Advocate staff joins the rest of Lawrence County in sending our prayers to his family and his fellow emergency responders. Also on page 1 this week, the Lawrence County City Council heard that progress is coming along well on the new pickleball courts and the resurfacing of tennis courts. Hopefully, everything will be ready to go by the end of June. Carrie Staggs recently went through the City of Lawrenceburg website, lawrenceburgtn.gov, and has written up an article to let us know what we can find, help us to navigate the city and city government. Finally, on the front page, Summertown Utility has announced rate changes, and early voting for August begins Friday. Inside, Heritage Bank and Trust announces the appointment of Felicia Brown as their new Senior VP Treasury Management Officer. And STRHS Lawrenceburg and First Choice Health in Lawrenceburg have announced the addition of Adrian Gowan as a certified family nurse practitioner. So welcome to those guys. Loretta PD is warning of a scam, and 2 other motorists were also killed in a crash at Highway 43 and 64 recently. Fireworks are thought to be the cause of a barn fire Saturday, and don't forget that tax-free holiday is coming up July 26th through the 28th. Every week we have town crier community events, obituary notices, auction notices, local government public notices, local weather from our friends at Tennessee Valley Weather, local church directory, and puzzles. The Lawrence County Historical Society's May meeting is highlighted this week, and it's got information from Lawrence County Register of Deeds, Tara Dickey. So many of our local boys of summer have turned in some amazing performances this All-Star season. Lawrenceburg 9U, Summertown 8U, Lawrence County 6U, and Lawrence County 10U all won state championships, and all are featured in this week's Advocate. But there's more coming, by the way. I want to remind you of something as we wrap up this week's Advocate Wrap. If you are a fan of puzzles and comics, you need to call 762-1726 right now and get a subscription to the Lawrence County Advocate. Only subscribers get a special 4-page section each week with extra puzzles and comics inside. I'm not sure you remember that. You know, we just started we just started with the subscriptions not that long ago, and this is part of what we're offering. If you get a subscription, you get a free 4-page puzzles and comics in your paper each week that's delivered to your mailbox. So that's 762-1726, or you can go to lawrencecountyadvocate.net. We'll be right back right after this.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather today.
Back to sunshine across the Tennessee Valley on this Wednesday. Here's a look at your Build Your Day hourly forecast brought to you by our friends at Parks Lumber Company. Mix of sun and clouds this morning, giving way to mostly sunny skies by the afternoon. Starting in the 60s this morning, warming through the 70s toward the mid to upper 80s for daytime highs as we hit into the mid to late afternoon. Here's that futurecast breakdown. A mix of sun and clouds out there this morning. Upper 60s for many of us. Warming through the 70s into the 80s by the afternoon, but a northerly wind reinforcing what is, for July standards, a cooler air mass. That's going to keep us into the 80s today, mid to upper 80s for daytime highs. Drier air in place continuing tonight. That allows temperatures to drop through the 70s this evening, back into the mid to upper 60s overnight toward daybreak here on our Thursday morning, with mostly clear skies except for a little bit of patchy fog possible overnight tonight in the early Thursday morning. Mostly clear as we go into our Thursday. Partly cloudy, continuing for Friday and Saturday. It's Sunday before we have any semblance of a rain chance try to come back into the forecast for the local area. Even then, it's only around 20%. Mid to upper 80s today. Back into the lower 90s starting on our Thursday, but still with low humidity. And the low humidity sticks around all the way through Friday night and Saturday morning. It's late in the weekend and next week when we get dew points back into the 70s. You add the dew points in the 70s and overnight lows in the 70s back to the mid to upper 90s for the afternoon, and you get heat index values back into the triple digits going into next week. Nothing out of the ordinary, though, here for July standards in the Tennessee Valley. Partly cloudy this morning, mostly sunny by the afternoon. Daytime highs generally in the mid-80s today over southern middle Tennessee, northwest Alabama, northeast Mississippi, more of the same. Daytime highs here generally into the mid to upper 80s. 7-day forecast from the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. Partly cloudy, dry through Friday and Saturday even. 80s today, back in the 90s starting through tomorrow. The overnight lows the next couple nights gives away the lower humidity. We're able to drop into the 60s at night versus staying in the 70s. That changes beginning Saturday night into Sunday. So beginning over the weekend, we get the mugginess back as we also warm into the mid to upper 90s. Maybe an isolated thunder shower on Sunday. Slightly better chance of thunder showers beginning toward the middle of next week. There's your latest 7-day forecast. Kelly Rosson will be in the Weather Center today live at noon with another local weather update.
Well, that's another week of news, sports, life, and more from the pages of your community newspapers, the Pulaski Citizen, Lawrence County Advocate, and Main Street Media. We hope you have an opportunity to get your copy today, either online or in traditional news format. For more information about how to get a copy of your community newspaper, visit lawrencecountyadvocate.net, mainstreetmurray.com, pulaskicitizen.com, or mainstreetmediatn.com. It's an honor for us to serve our communities, and you can let me know how we're doing. Or you can let me know if there's something you'd like to see more in your local newspapers. So you can email me at Stewart, SSTEWART at mainstreetmediatn.com. Or if you want one that's a little bit easier to remember, Scott at pulaskicitizen.com. They all go to the same place. That's Scott at pulaskicitizen.com. Once again, thank you guys for trusting us for your local news, your local sports, your local community events. And good Lord willing, we'll be right back here next week on Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee.